Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Hazel and Mia Podcast. We have a really special show for you today. We are going to work on a reflective trauma aware workshop, helping people to focus on their thoughts in today's current environment, because we know that every morning we turn on our TV sets and there's just more bad news facing us. And many of us don't know how to handle it. We're literally responding to negative things that we see happening every day. If you've been on the road driving to work and there are traffic jams and someone cuts you off and you start raging in your car, that is a time to reflect on what is really bothering you.
Yeah. And the time to pull over and take a break.
Absolutely. We recognize that literally the world is going crazy, and it's literally because we don't have a time to self-reflect, think about the things that make us feel good, as opposed to seeing things in the news, on TikTok videos, on Instagram, Facebook, that is just making our internal mood much worse.
I can't remember the last time I put the news on TV because it was just sending me loopy.
That's it.
Not knowing.
That's it. And I literally had to get to the point where I said, oh, no, I am not going to buy into this, because a lot of the news that's out there is just commentary, people's opinion. Yeah. And they literally want to make you feel scared. And that fear just wells up inside you, and it covers it up, the internal moods, the things that make you feel good about the world.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that yesterday we attended a 60th anniversary party, and everybody in the room was just so happy to be there to celebrate the couple.
Yeah.
There was no focus on anything negative. We had wonderful friends, we had a wonderful meal, and there was dancing, and everybody was just in a good mood.
And that's, oh, excuse me, guys. That's how it should be as well, because it's about bringing people together, celebrating, having fun. When you're all together, you can close the door and forget about the outside world. Yes. And focus on what you're doing there and then.
And what's important in your life.
Yeah.
Like Hazel sent me this beautiful video of her grandson and her eating. And he was so proper. But he was so patient with his food. He was determined that he was going to use his fork and his manners.
Cucumber on his fork. There was nothing left of the cucumber by the time he'd finished stabbing it, trying to put it on his fork.
But that was such a beautiful moment. And it makes me think about the times where I am talking with my grandchildren or my sons, and just enjoying the conversation that we're having. Yeah. You know, my son sent me a video.
Don't let anybody help him either.
Exactly. You know, and how happy he was.
Yeah.
When he made it. Now, I was laughing so hard at my son.
I'm going to get a bottle of water.
So okay. Okay. My son had sent me a video, and he was so proud that he had caught so many fish on a fishing trip in the morning. And I said, "Oh, wow, that's wonderful. You're bringing home dinner." And he said, "Well, Mom, they were really about the size of sardines. So only one of us could have eaten today." But they had so much fun together. They have a small child who was just loving being around her uncle. And that video just made the world for me feel right again.
And it's silly things we do when he's with me. Like he was riding his little bike and I was pretending he was running me over and I was going, oh, and then he'd pretend to fall off and I'd say, quick, phone the doctor. And it's times like that I cherish with him.
And you know, the thing is that we don't get it often, but we can remember the feeling that we have when we do have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And allow it to help change the mood when things are not going as well as we would like for them to.
Yeah.
And something that you have to recognize when you are in a moment like that is it's important for you to stop and take a slow breath.
Yeah. Yeah.
And relax your body, unclench your jaw, and feel the ground beneath you.
Yeah. And do you know what, guys? Even if you don't eat a meal with your children, just sit there when they're eating and have a conversation.
Oh, you will get so much from those conversations, just hearing about their day and learning what makes them feel good and remembering how it made you feel when you had similar instances.
Yeah.
You don't remember that you don't need to solve everything in that moment.
No. And that's a way of learning about as well, because this conversation is about trauma. That's your way of learning if there's anything worrying them that you can explain will be okay and explain about everything moving forward. And it's just general conversation that your children don't realize you will get a lot out of.
This is absolutely true because they're going to come to you with many problems that you have probably experienced when you were their age.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you get to be the authority on the subject,
Yeah.
helping them, not giving them solutions, but helping them find their own solutions.
Yeah.
Because we all have our own path that we're supposed to be following.
Look at this poor piece of cucumber. The fork had been in it about 10 times. And I even said to him, do you want Nanny to help you? He looked at me, picked it up with his hands and then ate it because he realised that he couldn't get it on his fork. But he worked out for himself what he needed to do.
But that's just it. Your first task was to simply notice what was happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you handle it with honesty, patience, and no judgment.
No.
Okay?
No.
It is going to make you feel so much better knowing that there are solutions,
Yeah.
better solutions for you if you get rid of the judgment and the rush to make a decision.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what is, even us as adults, yes, we can give advice on what the cards indicate for us to do, our spirit guides, but the ultimate decision is down to you guys.
Absolutely.
Because you know what's playing on your mind. You know when you're frustrated and angry, and that's normal everyday emotions.
Yes.
And believe you me, you're better to let those emotions out than to keep them close to you because they will fester and fester.
Absolutely. And that's how you can teach your child to recognize what they're feeling and address it.
Yeah.
You can simply say to them, okay, what are you feeling right now?
Yeah.
And help them with specific words. Are you irritated? anxious because a lot of time, children in particular are not familiar with the feelings that they're having.
Yeah. The other way you could do it is do flashcards. You could do a flashcard with somebody feeling angry, somebody that's sad, somebody with steam coming out of their head. So then they will understand what these emotions mean. Even though they don't know the words from, they can show you on flashcards. Because think about it. When we are frustrated, I'll say things like, my head's ready to explode. Because I know there's so much going on in my head. Now, I can say that, but some people can't express that.
It's absolutely true. And the one thing that's very important is to recognize where you feel it in your
Yeah,
body.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, because sometimes it may appear as tensions in your chest, heaviness behind your eyes, a migraine, a tight stomach, numbness, or even fatigue. That's a main one.
And a good way to use with children, if they're anxious and you can see they're anxious, you can use the words of, are there butterflies? Do you feel like there's butterflies in your belly? Because that's things they would understand.
Yes.
Whereas if you say, are you anxious? They wouldn't know what that means.
Yes, exactly. And literally taking a moment and saying quietly to yourself, this feeling is present, but it is not my entire identity. I can observe it without immediately obeying it.
Yeah, yeah. And that's the thing as well, guys, because we speak about trauma a lot. Your brains have got two parts when it comes to trauma. You've got what I call the lockbox. The lockbox is what some of us prefer to transfer our trauma into in our brain, lock the box so that you don't have to think about it again. The other part is where the trauma is there constantly and things trigger you. That is a natural feeling. Whereas learning about how to cope with those triggers.
You, I have to say, something that I have noticed happening a lot lately is more and more videos are coming out where people are just letting their emotions fly
Yeah,
and not recognizing how it is actually affecting them. And it almost seems as if because one video comes out like this and it may go viral, then others are following and getting themselves into a lot of trouble
yeah,
because it's just not a good look for them. What happens is that you post your video out there and then your boss sees it
yeah,
and
yeah,
it causes you more trouble.
yeah,
And you're really not honoring your reactions or your intuition by posting it for everyone to see. You're not focusing on how you are actually feeling. You're being performative for the camera.
But you're going to have then a lot of people that will talk about you.
Yes. And that's going to weigh much heavier on you.
Yeah. With trauma, guys, look, I always do it. Mia will tell you, I've always got books by my laptop. And if something triggers me, I write it down.
Mm-hmm.
If something gets to me that much, I write it down. Once I've written it down, I will go outside in the garden and burn that paper.
Good.
Do you know why? Because once you've written that trauma down, you feel a release. It's still a trauma, but it might not be as bad as what it was originally. When I'm lighting that paper, I've released it because the ash goes up into the universe. Could be a strange way to explain it, but that's lightening the load for yourself as well. And that's important for you to do as a person.
Absolutely. You are acknowledging the trauma and then burning it, getting rid of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Every strong reaction often carries a thought, interpretation, memory, expectation, or even fear.
yeah,
So
yeah,
you can even write down the thought underneath this feeling
yeah,
may be, I feel rejected.
yeah,
I feel like I'm not good enough.
yeah.
Something bad is going to happen and nobody respects me. I
And
must fix this immediately and then burn it. Let it go. You will no longer be rejected. You will no longer feel like you're not good enough because you just got rid of that feeling inside of you.
that method is also good for teenagers. Teenagers live in
Absolutely.
a rough world at the moment. I
Yes.
wouldn't want to be a teenager again, certainly not. But then, think about it, guys. The, a little child is afraid to sleep because there's a monster under their bed. Get them to draw the monster, take them outside, release that monster into the sky so the monster can't come back. There's so many different situations that you can use that burning method for.
You
And it's
know,
every time.
it does. And I will say that you're right. Teenagers today have so much more to deal with because everything is so instant, so in your face.
Yeah.
And the parents didn't experience this.
No.
When
No.
we were growing up, most of us had siblings that we grew up with, and you could argue with your sibling, and then it was over with.
Yeah.
You learned to express yourself. You learned how to communicate effectively. You learned not so much to have the whole world see your imperfections.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Every little argument now is filmed.
Yes.
Every little accident of falling over, or you're outside with your friends and one of them says something and somebody else answers back. That is all filmed. And the one important thing to think about is that's just a 30-second clip out of the actual situation.
Absolutely. But
And that's
that's 30 seconds of your life that will be replayed over and over and over again. And everyone in the world can respond to that clip and put their 2 cents in and grow more animosity in the
yeah,
situation.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not beneficial for our teenagers, but I can honestly say that we can't go back now.
yeah. One thing that you could explain as well to children, and even as adults, we could take a tip from this. No matter what we do online, there's a digital footprint once it's out there. So it could be in 20 years' time, children has children. They Google their mum's name or their dad's name or sibling's name. All that we have done in the past will come up.
Fortunately, I didn't have Facebook and Instagram, and I think many people think this way. We didn't have that when we were really
No.
making a lot of our mistakes growing up, becoming teenagers. And the ones who knew about it were the ones who were in our inner circle
Yeah.
and either helped us deal with it or went on about their business and didn't focus so much on the situation you were dealing with. We didn't have to worry about coming back and saying, oh my gosh, I saw this online and that's you, or having a comment from a complete stranger saying something extremely nasty.
Yeah.
Those things stick with you more than anything else. And this is what we have to make ourselves aware and our children aware of.
When you put a status on Facebook, shall we say it's Brenda and Brian, for argument's sake. Brenda puts, Brian went out last night. He didn't contact me. He didn't come home till this morning. He's smelling of perfume. Who was he with last night? Straight away, your family and friends are going to call a judgment on that status. You haven't spoken to Brian to see if there was a situation that he helped out at or if he was cheating on you. But straight away, you've automatically put out there that he didn't come home. When he did, he had smell of perfume on him. So people are going to negatively attack him straight away.
That is true. And something that we must start doing is internally work on our feelings eternally. Yes, our imagination is going to play a part in any situation that we go through. Has Brian had problems in the past where he has come home with perfume on him?
Yeah.
Does Brian work in an environment where there are a lot of women around him and all like to wear perfume?
Yeah.
Does that mean that there is something bad happening here? Well, when your imagination runs away with you and you have other people feeding that imagination, you don't take time to focus on the things that might actually be happening and finding a way to communicate with Brian what's actually going on.
And poor Brian's sister had fallen over when they were at a club. He called an ambulance and went to the hospital with her, but his phone was dead, so that he couldn't contact Brenda to let her know what was happening. So it was an innocent thing, but because of past trauma, Brenda automatically thought the worst and put it out there for the world to see. Poor Brian's family are turning against him. His friends are not talking to him because they don't know the true situation.
Absolutely. And that's literally a problem that we suffer from, where we carry baggage from one relationship to another.
Yeah.
One partner may have treated you very badly and you got out of that situation, but you didn't release the fear, you didn't release the trauma. And so in your next relationship, you carry that forward. Every little instance that may have seemed a little bit off to you, you think back to the previous relationship and bring it into this relationship. That isn't fair, and it also is not very helpful.
But as well, because you're carrying that trauma forward and you haven't released that trauma, you're likely to go straight back into a relationship that was the same as your past relationship.
And remember that we're supposed to be learning lessons to help us move forward. So when you are in a relationship that doesn't work well for you and you get out, it's because you were a survivor. You got away from it. And the next time you're supposed to learn from that and go forward.
That's why, sorry, Mia, that's why we always advise having space between relationships, because you need to re-find yourself again. You need to work on you. You need to work on how you're going to handle your trauma. You need to decide if you're actually going to see a therapist or not. There's loads of different ways that past relationship will impact your future.
And you got to recognize that when you decide, okay, I'm never going to look for somebody like that again, I'm going to focus on somebody who cares about me, finds it important to be equal in the relationship. It doesn't happen if you haven't done the work on yourself, because you're part of the relationship.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to be happy with who you are before you can be happy as a couple.
You need to remember one thing. You got to learn to love yourself before anybody else can love you.
Exactly. Something that you can focus on too is separating facts from fear.
Yes.
You can write it down. You can draw two columns and say, okay, this was a fact. Brian went to the club with his sister. Brian came home late.
Yeah.
Brian smelled of perfume. What's my fear about this? That
Yeah.
Brian was not faithful to me.
Yeah.
That something happened where Brian was in close contact with someone wearing strong perfume. Okay, so in the second place, what you are assuming, predicting, or fearing about is all the imagination.
Yeah. Because the actual fact was he was smelling of perfume because he was holding on to his sister who was crying because she'd hurt herself.
Mm-hmm.
And let's be honest, if we see somebody that's fallen over, we all go over and check if they're okay. If they're crying, the normal thing you do is hug that person to let them know that it's okay, you're there, and they're safe.
Fear's interpretation of
Yeah.
a situation is always skewed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Say fear's interpretation is like, okay, they're angry with me and the relationship is ending. The fact may be, I made a mistake.
Yeah.
But fear's interpretation is, I ruin everything.
Yeah. I could tell you the biggest one that we deal with, and this is to show you how much fear takes over people's lives. They argued last night. He haven't texted her good morning as he normally do. It's only 1 minute past the time he normally texts her. He could have slept late. He could have jumped in the shower, written the text and forgot to send it.
Or he could be thinking about what's the right way to approach this.
Yeah. It don't mean the relationship is over. It really, really don't. And I think because perhaps you're insecure, that's because you're still holding on to your past trauma.
And literally, this gives you the opportunity to say, okay, I don't want this relationship to be over. So what do I do now? I find a way to address this problem and internally focus on what are some good options for solutions.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to have to go through this again with this person. I want us to be able to understand each other completely.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is a conversation worth having.
And that's the thing. That's why boundaries are important within a relationship.
This is true.
Just because you've fallen out doesn't mean he's walked away from you. Just because you've shouted at him and called him names doesn't mean that he's walked away from you. It means he's given you a little bit of space for you to think about what you've said and maybe think about if you need to apologize or he needs to apologize or if the two of you need to apologize.
And literally, the problem that we all are having is that we are not focusing on how we are feeling internally.
Yes. Yeah.
We are letting outside influence us, our moods, our thought processes. If we were alone and we saw a car accident, how would we feel about that internally? Oh, this is bad. How can I help? What do I need to do now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of there being a group of people around and everybody jumping on the situation, and one person sees it from one side of the accident and another person sees it from another side of the accident, it is important that you focus on what's going on internally. If somebody approaches you and says something to you, recognize that, hey, this really doesn't affect me. I understand they may be coming from a bad place. Something has hurt them today, but I wasn't involved in this. And so, what do I need to do so that I don't absorb their influence?
And there's lots of agencies that will help in that situation to help you just to understand that accidents happen. They witnessed all the time, but there are ways to offload those thoughts and feelings. Because, guys, when we've done a full day's work, me and Mia, we also need to offload those thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
Because we're dealing with clients with some very delicate situations.
Yes.
We're dealing with clients that are shouting and screaming because they're frustrated. We also have our own issues. We are parents. We have our own homes as well. So we also got to offload.
Yes. And we remember that this could be the result of several smaller pressures accumulating because we are dealing with so many different people.
Yeah.
So we have to ask ourselves, what's entered my mind, body, or environment when
Yeah.
I started to feel this way?
Yeah. And guys, every negative energy, every negative situation can be 360'd on and made into a positive.
This is true. And recognize that these situations are occurring around you for a reason,
Yeah.
to help you learn how to handle situations when you're involved in them,
Yeah.
when to walk away from situations when you're not involved in them, and not to carry the burden.
Yeah. Because it's difficult. It's
It
difficult.
is.
Guys, life is difficult at the present time.
Yes.
Raising a family is difficult. Money situations, everybody's struggling with. The cost of living, the price of food. We get it. We really, really get it because we are going through it as well.
Exactly. I literally think that this topic is something that we should be following up with. Next week, we will continue on this trauma awareness workshop. And we hope that you all can join us. It would be wonderful if you liked this video and gave us a thumb up, but
Yeah.
also send us a comment or ask a question that you would like us to address in our next session.
Or even stay anonymous and write how you deal with your trauma because your way of dealing with it might help us to put that comment out there to help other people to deal with it in the same way.
Yes, absolutely. So until next week, we want to say have a wonderful week. Try to focus on how you are feeling internally about situations, and always look for those moments that you truly enjoy and want to continue having every day.
Definitely. Definitely. And use a pen and paper.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you next
Bye.
week.